you!
Yes, you! If you like what you see, please hit the like, subscribe, share button, click the bell to all notifications on if you want to know every single time I upload. I play video games, I do funny videos, I am an absolute crazy ranting crazy person. Please share to Twitter, Facebook, Blogger. I still don't know what the crap Blogger is. And enjoy the video. I am going to clip this, so anything you say might pop up on screen in my final edit. I'm going to rant a little bit about one thing I actually know something about. And that is employment, wages, retail, and of course the minimum effing wage. Oh, Josiah Rises $5 super chat. Yo, don't forget, literal coyotes are carrying kids across. That's why these people shouldn't be allowed to vote, because they don't know what the crap they're talking about. Also, hello, Josiah. I'm doing my opening card. If I weren't in OBS, I'd send an invite or something. Also, you guys subscribe to Josiah. I know you guys subscribe to him. I don't normally talk politics, Bob. I think this is something that's not partisan enough for me to talk about. Knowing a thing or two about this particular thing. I worked retail for a very, very, very long time. Many years of my adult life. Many, many, many years. And I can tell you firsthand why raising a minimum wage is one of the absolute stupidest things anybody in this country could ever fucking want to do. Do you know why? It makes sense in spirit, but once you start applying, it is impossibly impractical in application. Why? Because every single retail especially, they all follow this invisible Walmart handbook of how to run their corporations, how to run their companies, how to get as much profit on the top end with as little cost on the bottom end. And their cost tends to be mostly employee salaries. Let's say you have one Walmart worker working for about $10,000 a year, give or take. Give or take. And keep in mind, that's about $70,000 less than Hunter Biden makes in a month, by the way. By the way, thank you for zooming in on me accidentally. Accidentally here. I'm going to remove my zoom because, is this it? That's the one. So $10,000 a whole year for your average retail person, maybe 15 on the higher end. When you raise the minimum wage, people don't realize that these stores, retail especially, never, ever, ever hire people on at full time. Why? Usually most states have these practices, these laws set in place that if you work a certain amount of hours in a week, you are considered full time and your employer has to start, providing benefits for you, like paid vacation, like health care, like all of these things. And what do employers not want to do? They do not want to spend any more money on their lowest level employees. I can tell you firsthand because I was that lowest level employee for a very, very, very long time. And no matter which store you go to, that is how these places operate, right? If you are a retail worker, unless you are a salary manager, the minimum wage increase will hurt you. It will hurt you. It probably will hurt some of these salary managers too, because you'll have fewer of them. What happens every time when healthcare or something passes? What do? Well, first thing they do is they lower everybody down in their hours so that they don't have to give them health care. That is the first thing they do. They lower their hours so much to the point where they don't qualify under the company policy. That's rule number one. Second thing, every time you get a minimum wage increase, what happens? They remove employees. They either stop hiring new people or they encourage some of your older people to want to quit. They find reasons to fire people. And if you are in a right to work state, well, that's also a right to fire state. So they can just get rid of your happy butt for any reason. This is why raising the minimum wage doesn't actually do any good. Let's say you raise the minimum wage for everybody and now everybody's making more money, but then you have fewer people there or they have fewer hours. Your hours will get cut. So you're making less the more they keep raising this crap because these companies don't care about you. Raising the minimum wage does not make these companies do the right thing and just, oh yeah, we're just going to pay everybody more. Hum, hum, hum. No, they're not. They're not going to go in and pay anybody anymore because why? They have a set amount of hours and a set amount of dollars and a set amount of budget, and they can't go over that. Their budget isn't going to increase just because they had to all of a sudden give everybody $1 an hour more. No, it doesn't. Because why? Because that comes from the top down. This crap, and all these people who wanted to argue, and I was watching the quartering cover, the two old men yelling at each other and shit. And I was watching that, and as somebody who doesn't particularly vote, and I'm not particularly partisan, except I guess I'm pretty biased against the media anymore. I guess I'm pretty biased against the mainstream media. Chef Carolyn, Chef Nation, well, take my money. Well, thank you so much. I'll jiggle after the fact here, because I know not everybody wants to see it. But you get these crazy corporations, and like I said, they all follow the Walmart handbook. And what happens every single time? They cut people's hours. Then they don't hire people. So you're doing the same job you're always doing. Let's say you're there early mornings in a department store to put the merchandise out on the floor, to take it from the back, from the stock rooms, and fill the racks and fill the aisles so people can buy it, or put a sign on it so that people know how much it's on sale for, right? They aren't going to increase your hours just because you got a raise. They're not going to do that. They're going to lower your hours, and they're going to not hire new people. So you're going to go from a team of 5 people doing it to a team of 3 people doing it for fewer hours. I know, because I lived through it. I lived through it working at Sears and Macy's during all this crap. This stuff, though, that makes me so mad that they want to go in and argue like it's a good thing. They want to argue like it's a good thing. They want to argue that, oh yes, but retail doesn't do that. These corporations don't give a crap about you. They do not give a crap about you. They see that as here, let me make some adjustments so we don't lose money. And I do that every single time. And these politicians and these people who are all for this shit don't understand how the real world works. They're catering to the lowest common denominator voters out there who are like, I want a raise at work. I want another $1 an hour. And they don't understand how the rest of it connects. They don't understand how it goes from the top down, and that if you're on the bottom tier, it is designed to keep you there as long as you can, as long as they can, until you climb and figure out a way to pull yourself out of it. Climb out of that. And they don't understand this. And I was watching the quartering with the debates last night. I think it was on his Midwestly channel. And people were legit arguing with him that raising the minimum wage was a good idea. It is never a good idea to raise the minimum wage. It is never a good idea. And what's going to happen? And his example, I'm going to shout him out for this, was that when you go into McDonald's and all the employees are making $15 an hour, you're not going to have employees there. They're going to get rid of them. You're going to have 1 or 2 people there to do the bare minimum. But what's going to happen? You're just going to have all self-service kiosks. You're going to have stuff as automated as it can get. I don't see these dining rooms of a lot of these fast food places coming back anytime soon. Pretty much everything's perfectly safe to be open in a lot of places with considerable, conditions and things and rules and compliance and all these crapping things. But once you create this means for these corporations to keep increasing their profits, those aren't coming back. Those jobs aren't going to come back. What's happening with retail anyway? What's happening with a lot of these places anyway? Fast food places are going drive-in only for the most part, so you're not going to have an eat-in experience for many places anymore. Retail, well, Amazon is killing that. Amazon's profiting like crazy for that because they can, pay people just a little tiny bit more. And most of it's automated, and you know it. And that's what really boggles my mind about some of these people. And don't get me started on these blue check marks who are so goddamn high and mighty about owning their other side that they don't know what a fucking coyote is. And I'm not going to get into which side is better or not. I'm disappointed in these people who are allowed to have opinions on the internet, who don't know what the crap they're doing, and they're influencing all these people. And that's kind of a side note, but I had to yell about the minimum wage first off, because that's not going to freaking help anything. And if the people think that these career politicians are going to have anything in their best interest, then I think they've got another thing coming. Sex God Darth Isaacs. Whatever for CVS, they refuse to hire any new employees. You know what? And thank you so much. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. This is what happens every single time we see this. This is what happens when you go into the workforce. So that is my rant, I think, on why I don't think the minimum wage should be raised. because I don't think it's going to help anybody anyway. I really, really don't. I think putting some restrictions in place on a lot of these employers might be a little bit better. If you're a company that makes a bare minimum of a certain amount of money every day or year, then there is no reason you can not hire people at full time. Right? And this shit of, oh, well, people only want to work part-time. No, people are taking it because they're saying that they want to work part-time. People are saying that. And you might have one or two people who only want to work a part-time job and they don't want to go to McDonald's and they want to work early in the morning at a department store because it's good for their schedule. Yeah, you might have some of those people. But if you have employees come in and say, no, I will take any job I can get, but I prefer full-time, you should have some sort of measure in place to where if they ask for it, they have to give it to you. As long as you are an employer, an employee. Because that's one of those loopholes that they're like, oh, you accepted the job at part-time? Yeah, because there's no other jobs out there. Yeah, I accepted a 20-hour position. And this is my own personal experience talking. I accepted a position at 20 hours a week, being promised I would have full-time in 3 months. What happened? 8 years later, full-time was 20 hours a week. Full-time was no benefits and 20 hours guaranteed, and it wasn't even 4 hours at a time, which was actually pretty good for my schedule at the time. It wasn't just 4-hour increments for 5 days a week then. It was, oh, and now all of a sudden we're going to have you here all day here, and I'm like, well, I can't. It conflicts with my schedule. But you're guaranteed these hours. Yes, but my schedule was this. Can you comply to this? Well, we don't need you these days. We need you here. Yes, but this isn't my job. Do you understand? I was hired for this specific job and you're having me do something else. If I can make the same money in 20 hours at 15 and then 40 hours at $7.50, I'll take it. That doesn't, just because they're saying they're giving you $15 doesn't mean they're going to hire you. That job goes bye-bye. Yeah, that's what the problem with raising the minimum wage means. You won't have a job to work 20 hours at 15. That's the problem with this, is that they start getting rid of these people. If you make too much money, you're going to go bye-bye. If you start getting too many benefits, they're going to either promote you up if you're in the clique, and trust me, they only hire within the cliques, or they're just not going to hire anymore, right? That's the thing. These jobs just go away. These jobs don't exist once they start raising fewer and fewer jobs. These department stores are closing like crazy. These jobs go away. You know, they're not going to actually just be hiring more people. Yeah, it's a temporary fix for now. But in 5 years, what's going to happen? No, these stores will close down, and that's what's happening because the times change. And I think some of these stores, and same thing with comics. The comics industry needs to die and go under. Andrew Fall says, Tim Pool is being blacklisted too. He started to get it cleared after people complained. I am being blacklisted, so if anybody knows how to complain and fix that, I have no idea how to complain. I can just yell at the camera. But so that is my rant on minimum wage and why I think it is irresponsible for people to want to raise it. If you disagree, I don't care. Because I'm right on this one, and people know I'm right. Like I said, they all follow this invisible Walmart handbook of how to treat employees, how to get as much out of your employee for as little as possible. Walmart will just, and then, yes, you're right, everything else will just raise their prices too. What'll happen is they'll raise their prices as well as losing jobs, so you're double fucked. These corporations don't care about us. They don't. We know it. That's the other thing about Walmart and all these corporations, right? They don't actually give two craps about the employees based on your open availability. That's another thing that people don't realize, that only to get any amount of hours, you have to be the right kiss ass in the right clique, in the right group. One of the things that Walmart will do that's really, really shitty is that they will make it so that you, in order to get full-time consideration hours, right? You have to have completely, even to get hired, completely open availability. That means you can't be working another job because Walmart doesn't pay you enough to live. That means if they want you there to close one night and open the next day, you have to do it. They have these mandatory shifts. Like, let's say you're a retail worker and you're working during Thanksgiving time. You're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. If you can manage to work opening on the day after Thanksgiving or closing on the day after Thanksgiving, aka Black Friday, I have worked jobs, and I probably shouldn't have been because it was a conflict of interest. But I worked at 5 in the freaking morning on one job, stayed there till 1 in the afternoon, went directly to the other job, changed clothes in the bathroom to go to work at the other job to stay there till 11 at night. And this is the day after Thanksgiving. And I was lucky that I was able to work later at the other job. Because what happens? They all want you there at the same time on the same day because they all have, like I said, the Walmart handbook. They have the same sales. They have the same crap. It's always at the same days because these things are planned out because they know the calendar and they know when people are going to have money and they know when people are going to spend money and they know based on holidays. So don't even think that you can supplement your income with another job if you're working 20 hours here and 20 hours there. Because I guarantee you, 20 hours a week isn't going to be enough to cover your living expenses. John Carter says, thank you for speaking the truth. Do you guys want me to get more social topic? Because I know this shit. I just don't like to piss off half the people, and I'd rather entertain than sit here and tell you exactly why this economic proposal isn't going to work, because here's how it works in the real world. Here's how the application is in the real world. Oh, this stuff pisses me off. The film industry needs to go under. Yes, they don't care about us either. They don't care. Take politicians' paychecks to cover this. Don't ruin businesses and jobs, right? They need to start doing that. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video. Bye!